Hey community, Pastor Brad here. Thankful that you guys are joining us on our daily Bible reading. And now before I begin to read our passage today, I just want to ask you a question and want you to think about it as we read and have our conversation. And here's the question. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give up? Now today our reading comes from the Gospel of Mark chapter 12, starting in verse 41 all the way to verse 44. And this is what it says. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." What a poignant passage, and there's really not a lot of gray area to play around with here in this passage. And the rhythm of sacrificial generosity, which is what we're talking about, requires sacrifice. It requires sacrifice. Jesus didn't say that the rich people who put in the large amounts of money that their gift was bad. He didn't say that it shouldn't be used or that they didn't care. Jesus didn't even say that their intentions were selfish. But Jesus did talk about the poor widow, though. And these 2 copper coins, which together are worth less than one of our pennies today, together they're worth less than just 1 cent. These 2 coins called mites were the smallest possible denomination of currency that Rome used at the time. And the reason her 2/8 of a cent, her 2 copper coins was a more generous gift than the amount that the wealthy were thrown in the basket is because of what Jesus said about her in verse 44. When Jesus said, out of her poverty, she put in everything, all that she had to live on. So Jesus is basically saying that when she gave that gift, that was everything she had to her name. Everything she had to her name. She left that moment not knowing the next time she would have money again. She left that moment maybe not even knowing the next time she'd be able to purchase food. Now, conventional wisdom would say that this woman, this poor widow, would be more fit to be a recipient of charity than to be a donor. So on that day, based on proportion of means, she actually gave more to God. She gave anyway. She didn't have much, but whatever she did have, she gave it all away. And there was nothing sacrificial about what the other people were giving that day. I think a lot of us today could be really generous, but would it be sacrificial generosity? What would it look like today if you gave to the point where your only move afterwards was to just trust Jesus? That this woman gave and was having to trust God after that moment, that he would still provide. And I think if we desire to build a real resiliency of faith in our lives, it comes down to who we trust. Now, you might be able to give 10 different people $10 each today, and your wallet wouldn't even feel like it's been hit at all. But if you only had, or if you had $1,002 in your bank account, and then you decide to give 10 different people $100 each, so that at the end of the day, you don't even have enough money to pay for an entire fast food meal. See, generosity without sacrifice does not build a resilient faith. Generosity without sacrifice does not build a resilient faith. Sacrificial generosity pushes us to trust God when we don't have enough. Witnessing God come through in those moments when we've got nothing left and we're saying, all right, God, just to be able to make it to the end of the day, I have to trust you. And then all of a sudden we begin to witness God come in through on the clutch in our lives and provide for us. That helps us build resiliency because we know we can trust God. So I want to leave you with just this simple statement, this simple question. What are the 2 copper coins that you can sacrifice today? What are the 2 copper coins that you can sacrifice today? Now, no one can answer that question for you but you. I pray that today that you have eyes to see places where you can sacrifice and be generous and help somebody else. We're praying for you guys. We cannot wait to see you, and we love you. If you guys want to have the Bible reading sent to your email, go to findcommunity.com/Bible reading, and you can sign up there, and then we'll have it sent every day to you. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.